Shalom, first and foremost. We give double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone who want to teach more than heart Shalom to the elect. All right, back out here another camp day. Let's see what the Lord is going to allow me to bring out. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 1. It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. All right, and that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to come out here, whether people hear or forbear, all right, and teach, okay? And forbear means to have patience or be long-suffering with, okay? And those that will be long-suffering with, all right, they're going to come out here and listen, all right, they're going to believe, they're going to go through their trials and their changes of life, okay? That will allow them to hopefully be delivered in the time of Jacob's trouble, okay? Because Jacob's trouble is coming, and that's part of prophecy, all right? You know what? Let me get it. That's what we're supposed to be talking about, prophecy, the words of prophecy. And the words of prophecy come from the Spirit of the Lord through Yahweh. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. It says here, alas for that day great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right, the elect is who is going to be saved out of the time of Jacob's trouble. The 144,000, and those innumerable multitudes of individuals that you can read about in Revelation 7 chapter, okay? All right, they're going to be the ones that's delivered out of it, all right? The elect is going to be the ones that are delivered out of it, okay? All right, but there's going to be trouble for the rest of our people, all right? And you have to make sure through your faith in the Lord that it's not going to be trouble for you, all right? And the only way to do that is to believe in the word, be long-suffering and forbear, okay? The words that Yahweh Shemel Shah, okay? All right? And to be long-suffering or forbearance means to be patient. And to be patient means calm without complaint, which is easier to do which is easier to say than to do. Okay? Alright? But the time of Jacob's trouble is coming. Alright? I'm gonna read verse 8. This is Jeremiah 38. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from thy neck. Alright, and the yoke goes into slavery. Alright, you can just look it up. Yoke of bondage around your neck. Okay, you'll see so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Alright, in that stead with yokes of iron around their neck. Okay, alright. And will be broken in that time. Alright, in the time of deliverance, in the time of safety and peace for the elect. Okay, it's the time where the Lord will be bringing down America. Okay, alright, and bringing forth trouble to 2/3 of our people. And delivering the elect, okay? Alright? It says, I will break his yoke from off thy neck. And to break something is going to take violence. Okay? It's going to take extreme violence, alright? Like let's say if you break if you break a stick or something, you either do it on your leg or you can do it in half, but it takes force, okay? And force in a sense, alright, we can look at it as the Lord and his host of armies, okay? The Lord Yahweh Shai coming with power, okay? With the host of his armies, okay? The Lord coming with anger, like it says in Isaiah the 63rd chapter. He's gonna stomp the people out, okay? All right. It says garment will be full of blood. It says those things, all right? Because the Lord is coming to break the yoke of our enemy off of us, but it's going to be done in that sense of violence, okay? All right. Just like you would break a stick over your leg, or you break it in half with your hand, that was force. With some type of that I will break his yoke from off thy neck and will burst thy bars, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. All right, we're not going to be enslaved no more. All all right, under Esau, Edom, and the other nations, okay, all right, because we're all subject to, ultimately Esau, Edom, but then in a lower sense, we are subject to these other nations because we got to go and buy and sell from them. All right, you so-called nigger women, all right, you so-called black women, all right, y'all go to the Chinks and the Indians or whatever to buy their hair or buy their products as far as the hair. And then I seen one of those posts as far as the hair that the women, the so-called nigger women wear. Their hair goes back to Indian gods that that the women that had the hair, they gave it to those Indian gods, or they used it in a form of worship for those Indian gods, and then our people put it on their hair, and then their hair. That's why women are bald headed, and it says here, aside from the Lord saying that He will, smite the head of the woman, okay, causing her to be bald. Okay. But we all subject to them in one way, shape, or form, man, right? But the Lord's going to take that away from us, so we won't be enslaved to them anymore. And then they're going to be enslaved to us, right? When it comes to the kingdom, they're going to be enslaved to us, right? This is Revelation 13 and verse 9. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And what is captivity? Let's look it up. Alright, let's look up captivity. Alright, when you put an animal in a cage, that animal is captive. Okay? I'm not saying that we are animals. Alright? When I say we, I mean you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. I'm not saying that we are animals, but we are in a captive place. Alright? Captivity. This is in my Bible dictionary. Alright, it says the state of being a prisoner or of being in the power of an enemy by force or the fate of war. Alright, this is we in captivity. Alright, when it's time for Esau and these other nations to go into captivity, they're gonna be prisoners unto us. Our yokes of iron is gonna be upon their necks. They're going to be branded with, brothers' names on their body somewhere, okay? With maybe brothers can shoot, maybe brothers will shoot eye lasers from their eyes, okay, to brand their cattle, all right? Because that's what they're going to do. And Esau, Edom, and these other nations, they're going to be cattle unto us, okay? All right? Just like they branded us with certain hot iron and things of that nature. And they're trying to brand people in this time with this MOTB, which Lord will talk about later. Okay? But it says here, the state of being a prisoner or of being in the power of an enemy by force or the fate of war. And the fate of war, everything's in the hands of the Lord. Everything's predestinated. Okay, so the Lord had predestined us for us to come here to be in America as a prisoner. Okay? Or in captivity. All right. It says here, it says subjection, servitude, slavery. It says to be captive, to lead to captivity. Captive in the scripture is to subdue those who have held others in slavery or captivity. That's what we're going to do. All right. That's what we're going to do to your other nations, man. All right. That have, drink the, dry Israel, dry. All right, they took everything from Israel, took everything from the people of Israel. All right, everything's gonna be taken from you. Okay, everything's gonna be taken from you. Lord's gonna put the world in our hands, because the scriptures say, it says, it's the second Ezra, so we just try to find it right quick. The world made for our sakes. I'm gonna just quote it because he said to Gabriel the archangel, the world was made for our sakes, right? And we in captivity because we have transgressed against the Lord. But the Lord, through His mercy, is gonna bring us out of that captivity. All right, get up out of the slavery. All right, from being a prisoner. All right, the Lord's gonna get us up out of there by way of Yahushua, by way of prophecy coming, or by way of prophecy being written down, spoken, all right, and then the Lord putting that prophecy into action. Okay, all right. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be out here prophesying. Okay. Let me go back to Jeremiah. Oh no, let me finish reading Revelation 13. This is Revelation 13 and 10. I'm gonna start over. Start at 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. And an ear, you know, men have ears, all right, but have a spiritual ear, have a spiritual understanding, all right. The Lord has to give you that, all right. The Lord has to sit you down with another individual that has a proper and true understanding, starting off with the names of the Lord, okay, Yahushua, Salaki, and they have to teach you. All right, and the Lord has to open up your mind in order for you to hear, to understand, to believe, okay? And then to go out there and speak, all right? It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, all right? Patience goes into long-suffering and forbearing, like I had mentioned earlier, all right? And which means going to being calm without complaint, all right? We have to be patient and wait for this to come to pass, all right? And the Lord's going to bring it to pass, but it's going to be on His time, all right? The Lord's going to bring it to pass on His time, okay? All right, the Lord's going to bring it to pass on His time. And once He does, everything that you hope and you pray for, all right, in regards to salvation and deliverance is going to happen, all right? But you got to believe it, all right? That's what it's talking about, the patience and the faith of the saints. Here going back to and then Esau's killed with a sword. All right, a sword can be any killing instrument that a sword is a killing instrument. So a sword can be anything nowadays, aside from a sword that samurai individuals or knights used to use back in the day. A sword can be food, water, air, the music. All right, the things that you see on your phone, on television, all those things can be classified as a sword because it influences you to do something that will either hurt or harm you or somebody else, okay? And it all stems from the thoughts of wickedness of Esau, okay? All right, so it says here, going back to Jeremiah 30 and 8, I'm gonna read that again. It says, for it shall come to pass in that day, says Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve Yahweh their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Right, we'll be serving the Lord. And how does that come about? We're gonna be serving the Lord because the Lord's gonna put laws, statutes, commandments in our inward parts, right? Inside of our mind. Okay? So we don't do anything contrary to the Lord. Alright? So we don't end up in another situation where we're in captivity. But it's not going to end up like that because it wasn't written like that. This is the final captivity. This is the final system of imprisonment, all right, for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Even the animals are going to be free, okay, when it comes to the deliverance that the Israelites are going to receive, okay? Even the animals are going to get restoration, right, where a lion and a lamb can be laying up together, and you know, a little baby can go play in the snake, a snake's hole, okay, a snake's hole, you know, Isaiah the 11th chapter, you know. All these great things are going to happen, but Esau, Edom has to go into captivity. The other nations have to go down, all right? Wickedness and righteousness cannot rule at the same time, all right? And we know righteousness, according to the scriptures, just as the scriptures say, all right, is going to overcome, all right? So it says here, I'm going to read this again. But they shall serve Yahweh their power. They shall serve Yahweh their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them, all right? The Lord's going to raise up King David. The Lord's going to bring King David back into the state of where he was when he ruled Israel with the iron fist in regards to righteousness, okay? And everything was right, okay? And everything's going to be right in the kingdom. How is that going to be so? Let's go over here to Jeremiah 31, all right? It says here, this is Jeremiah 31, and 31, it says, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I had brought them, and in the day that I took them by hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which we in Egypt again, okay, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith Yahweh. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel, both Judah and Israel, right, the northern and southern kingdom, right, as it has said in the 32nd verse. Right, after those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my laws in their inward parts and write in their hearts, and they will be their power, and they shall be my people. All right, so that's how we're going to be able to serve the Lord in truth and sincerity and in righteousness, you know. No messing up, no not keeping none of the commandments, living in holiness, being separate, being just as the Lord is, holy and separate, because we're going to be, in a sense, in the same mindset as the Lord. We're going to be righteous, okay? Everything that he commanded us to do is going to be within us automatically, all right? The laws in our head, that's how we're going to be able to serve the Lord and keep David, all right? It's going to be right, and everything's going to be good, okay? Right, it says here, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, so every Israelite man, woman, or child, okay? Because that's who our neighbors are, all right? The term neighbor nowadays, people link it to the individuals that live next to you. Well, when the law, statutes, commandments was given unto us, okay, who was living next to the other people in the land of Israel? When the tabernacle was set up and Israel was encamped around it, right? After we left Egypt, Israel was sitting next to the other people in Israel. What I mean by, you know, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, they were next to each other. Gad, Manasseh, and Ephraim, they were next to each other. All right, so forth and so on. All right. Israel was neighbors with Israel when the law, statutes, commandments came out. So these law, statutes, commandments are for Israel and the neighbors of Israel. And when these were written and are given, was Israelites. Okay. And who is every man teaching? Right? Who are the prophets of the Lord teaching? They teaching Israelites. Right? Because it's Israel that is clicking to his word. Okay. All right. This is verse 34, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, all right, saying, know the Lord, all right, and know means to have a special relationship with, all right, and how do we have a special relationship with the Lord? You know what? Through the mercies of the Lord, he selected and chose Israel to be his people through the promises that Abraham and Isaac received, okay? Jacob also received those promises, all right, but it went through the choosing process, okay? Abraham first, Jacob, and then Israel, all right? It says here, every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them. And these these pronouns are talking about the Israelites, okay? All right? Saith the Lord, saith Yahweh, for I will forgive their iniquity and will remember their sin no more. The Lord is not promising this to anybody else. The Lord is only promising this to you so-called Negro Latinos and Native American Indians. And this is part of prophecy. This is what it is that we're going to receive that's later on in the future, okay? All right, this is what it is that we're going to get. Nobody else is going to receive this. Nobody else, okay? All right? Let me go back to Jeremiah 30. And this is verse 10. It says, therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. The Lord's going to save Jacob's children, meaning us, all right, from the land of our captivity. Are we not prisoners here in America? Are we not in imprisonment? Saith Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and there shall none make him afraid. And to be afraid means to be taken out of peace. But if the Lord, since the Lord is promising us rest, all right, through Jacob, he's promising us rest and quiet, all right. There's not going to be anything to take us up out of our peace, because again, the Lord's going to put the law, statute, commandments in our inward parts, and through those law, statute, commandments being in our inward parts, we're going to be able to keep the commandments of the Lord, all right, and not be casted off into captivity, not to be cast. Hey, brother, how you doing? And not to be, yeah, that's good, brother. Keep listening, you know, and not being able to be cast off into slavery again, all right? Yeah. This is verse 11. Verse 11 says, for I am with thee, saith Yahweh, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet I will not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. All right, so the Lord's going to punish us. All right, he is punishing us right now. Yeah. But the Lord, he's not going to make a full end out of us. Meaning, hey, the elected nation of Israel is going to be saved, but all these other individual nations, they're going to be going into captivity. They're going to be destroyed in some way, shape, or form. They're going to be put to an end. All right, and then ultimately, we saw Edom, the so-called white man, is going to be put to an end. All right. Let's talk about that. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So the Lord's gonna put an end to Esau, the so-called white man, forever. Once the kingdom is set up, and after that 1,000 years of their captivity, the Lord's gonna destroy them. The Lord's gonna tell us right here. But we're gonna talk about some of the violence that the so-called white man has done to you, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. I know you can speak on some of the violent things that you've seen.
Yeah, sure.
And if you don't mind, can you speak on some of it, like the violence that you've seen from the white man towards your people? What are some things that you've seen? picture depicts the execution of 39 Native American men. The execution was ordered by President Abraham Lincoln, which is an Edomite, which is a so-called white man. The men were charged with treaty violations of hunting off their assigned reservation in 1862. So they set up gallows for Native American men. They hung them, you know. And just recently, there was a young Jake, a young so-called Negro man, that was hung down there in Henderson, North Carolina. You know, so Esau got to pay for that too, but he got to pay for this as well. You know? This is violence. Yeah, this is hate right here, but he hates you. The so-called white man hates us, you know. He does. He shows that he hates us, but some of our people are so you know, so in a deep slumber that they don't see it, they don't want to see it, or they can't see it. But he's gonna pay for that. You know? He's gonna pay for the things that's written in this book right here. Slavery from the people that lived it, you know. And then there's the other book that I have is called Without Sanctuary, where it shows you all most of the lynching and stuff that was recorded as far as people taking pictures. The lynchings and the castration and the burning of the so-called Native American people, the Negro, so-called Negro, after and this is the early 1900s, you know. Those things were still going on, and it's a little bit over 100 years ago or so. But Esau hatred, he masks it sometimes, you know. He hides it, you know, but it's still there. It's still there. And when all hell breaks loose, don't think that he's going to be there to save you. The only one that's going to save you is the Lord Yahweh, okay? And the Son Yahweh. Yep, Yahweh, yep. So it says here, this is Jeremiah, this is Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 11. And the day that thou stoodest on the other side, and the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. So in the time of the Babylonian Empire, when Nebuchadnezzar was ruling in modern-day Iraq, the Lord allowed Nebuchadnezzar to go there and sack Jerusalem to take Israel into captivity because of the wickedness that Israel was doing. The idolatry, you know, that's the most, wicked thing that we do, is worship another God, when we should be worshiping the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah. So the Lord allowed another nation to come in and take us and put us into captivity. So, but Esau Edom had a hand in it. So the so-called white man had a hand in it. His ancestors, the white people that are walking around today, their ancestors had a hand in it. So the Lord's going to judge those individuals because they're floating around here today. They're back in the reincarnation today, if they haven't already died in this time frame yet. But the Lord's going to allow them to be destroyed. The Lord's going to destroy them because of what it is that for the violence, okay? Right. But let's say when you go to take over a town or a household of an individual, you don't go in there asking, right? You go over there with more in your mind. You go in there with guns pointed. Right. You go in there with taking, valuable resources that's valuable to you on your mind. And, you go in there and you breaking in their house, That's what Nebuchadnezzar did, but Esau Edom, the so-called white man, was a part of it. Mm-hmm. So that's what that verse was saying. Okay. In verse 12 it says, but thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother and the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. So Judah, it goes into the so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians. All right, Judah, this is the southern kingdom right here. These three tribes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which is Judah is the Negroes, Benjamin is the West Indians, and Levi is the so-called Haitians. When Nebuchadnezzar came through and took Judah out of the land of Israel, it was these three nations, or these three tribes, which Nebuchadnezzar took out of the land of Israel. Oh, okay. And Esau Edom was around. He was there. He was seen. He was a part of it. He partook in it. All right? Yeah. He shouldn't have been happy about it. He shouldn't have looked on it, is what the scripture is saying right here. In verse 13, it says, thou shouldest not enter into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity, So a gate is, in a sense, a door. A gateway is a door. So back in the day, I'm speculating here. They had, towers or gates around,
They
main.
had narrow Broadway.
Yeah, They had gates and stuff around certain entries into the town, and they like you have a door to your house.
Right.
That gate was the entry into the city. Well, guess what? Nebuchadnezzar did his thing, and then Esau came through and did his thing also, pillaging and taking and raping the women, taking the children. It says here, thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. So this is what the Lord is telling Esau he shouldn't have never done. But the Lord made the so-called white man do that. He's making the so-called white man do that in this time, with all the laws and the philosophies as far as what they teach in the churches, the laws and the doctrines. Another philosophy is the stuff that they teach in the school. That's a philosophy. All right, there's things that they sugarcoat as far as what history is. Like this right here, they don't tell the whole history when they read the Bible in the church. And in the school system, they're not telling the people that are on the sign where they were at before they got before they came to America. They'll say that, hey, the Native Americans were here first, and then the Pilgrims or whomever they would say came in and took over the land. Which is true. Christopher Columbus, all right, he came through and took over, certain parts of America.
Discovered the world.
That's what they say. He discovered the world, but that's not true.
I don't know. It's just what I read.
Yeah, but that's what they say, but that's not true. But that's a lie, because this part of the world was already discovered.
Okay, I see.
It says here, yeah, I know, it's okay. You don't got to
I know. I just put that up.
Yeah, I'm good. It says, neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered of those that did remain in the day of distress. So because Esau has done all the wickedness that he has done today, and the wickedness that he has done to the Lord's people back in the day, the Lord's going to destroy him. The Lord's going to put an end to him. All right? It says, for the day of Yahweh is near upon all heathen. And the heathen is the other nation, right? So if you are not part of, I can tell, based on how you look, and your mannerisms and things that you told me, all right, you are from the North American Indians, right? So, but any individual that's not on this sign, they are a heathen nation. All right, so we saw he's a heathen. The East Indians, they're heathens. Okay. The Russians, they're heathens. The Chinese individuals, they're heathens. All those nations are heathenistic people. So, in the sense of, there's also heathen when we act or when we do the things that these nations partake in, the other nations partake in, as far as worshiping their gods. We are heathenistic. We follow after their ways. So the Lord would consider us to be a heathen. But once we come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, then believe in the Lord. The Lord is transforming you from being as a heathen to being one of his people.
Okay.
But it says, this is Obadiah 1:15, for the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen, and remember, heathen is the people on this side. So you see the white people out here, they're heathens. The East Indian people, those people that come from the land of India. Those people are heathens. You got Afghanistan individuals that's heathens. Now our people are mixed within those nations somewhere. There's somebody that may look like one of those people, but their spirit goes back to being an Israelite. Because the Lord scattered us. Let's say you throw a bunch of change on the ground and it just goes everywhere, anywhere. It may roll over all the way over here. Some may roll behind you, some may roll in the street. That's how the Lord did us. He scattered us because of our wickedness. And the scattering started when we were taken out of our land. So when we were taken out of the land of Israel, that's how the scattering started.
Okay.
Yep. So we were taken out of the land of Israel. Some of us that ran away or flee, we were able to flee into other countries, or we were taken into other countries, and then we mingled with the people there. That means we had sex with the women that were there. So because the man has to see wherever you have sex with that woman, she's of another nation. That child that comes from out of you first, he's part of your lineage. He's your lineage. He's not white and black, or he's not, Indian and white. You are your children are where you are. So if you are a so-called black man, just say in this case, and you go have sex with the Indian woman, that child is a black child. Spiritually, that child is black, But the world would say that he's mixed or this, that, and the third. But according to the man, that's how the man dictates what the child is as far as his lineage, what his race is, what the world calls racism. It says, for the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. So everything that these nations have done to us, they poisoned us with the food. They poisoned us with the stuff that they put in the air and the water. They poisoned us in regards to the information that we receive. They poison us in regards to, or they kill us with, all these type of different weapons that they have out here. They raped our people. They separate the families from the women and children from their their husbands, and the women from their children from her children. That's going to happen unto them, but it's going to happen unto them like so much worse, because it's the Lord's thing, right? It says, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. They're going to drink the plagues that's going to come upon them. Plagues mean calamity. Plagues mean death. Plagues mean suffering and pain. That's what it is that they're going to receive. They're going to receive all those things. It says, it continually means it's going to be constant. It's not going to stop. It's going to be constant. So like, how you blink, constantly blinking. You blink like maybe once or two every second, or you breathe it continually. That's how it's going to be for these other nations. All the things that have happened unto the worst people is going to happen to them continually. The wickedness that they put upon us as far as killing and stealing and raping and robbing, all those things as far as, what they did to us is going to be done unto them. It says, they shall drink and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Which means, at some point in time, they're going to be no more. Especially this Esau Edom talking about. They're going to be no more. They're going to tell us that here in a few seconds. My bad, my head is just itching. Verse 17, this is over down 1 to 17. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. And Mount Zion is a representation of this, our people. But also it's a piece of land in the land of Israel, okay? Right? And upon that mountain is going to be the people of Israel that are delivered and are saved, which is going to be the nation as a whole. But before the whole nation is delivered, the Lord's only going to deliver 144,000 people. It's all going to be men. But then you're going to have men, women, and children of that innumerable multitude that's going to be delivered as well. But the elect is the main individual that's going to be delivered. It says here, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. All right, so everything that, the so-called white man has, all right, we're going to be taking it from them as far as resources, beneficial resources like the gold, the silver, the precious metals, things of that nature. He has the trees as a resource. So what he does, he destroys them. We're going to use the trees in the righteous sense, not only for oxygen, but building homes. Making something that's beneficial. I can't, pinpoint what it may be, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to use resources for beneficial things for the people, for our people, instead of using it for destruction, because they burning down the rainforests and things like that. Were you about to say something, sir? I'm going to cut you off. Okay. It says here, and Jacob, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. So Joseph, all right, he had two kids. He had Manasseh and Ephraim. All right, Manasseh and Ephraim, he had those two. Okay. So Joseph is a representation of the northern kingdom, okay? And Jacob is a representation of the southern kingdom, okay? It says here, and the house of Esau, which is so-called white man. All right, let me show you something. All right, so you see how the Greek, so it says here, Esau is Edom, okay? Esau is Edom. So back in the Greek times, you see how that they had their face on the horns and the eagle on the back?
Yeah.
Same thing on the Roman times. All right, they had their face on the front and the eagle on the back. Same thing in America. You see the face on the front, the eagle on the back. Same thing, you know. This is just a picture showing you that the so-called white man is what the Greeks and the Romans. And they're coming back to they're coming back in the same line or the same state that they were in before. The coins are the same. It may be the faces of the people are different, but they still have the same symbolism as far as the structure of the coins, the faces on it, the representation of the animal, the birds, you know. This is a big context clue to show you that who is Esau, who is the so-called white man. So if you ever hear Esau outside of me saying who Esau is, you know it's the so-called white man. All right, Esau is the so-called white man. He is Jacob's brother. Yep, Jacob and Esau. All right, right here. So back in Genesis, the 25th chapter, you'll read about Jacob and Esau. Okay, Jacob and Esau, they were fighting in their mother's womb. Okay, and they don't describe how Jacob came out. Because Jacob looked like everybody else, but they describe how Esau came out red all over like a hairy garment. All right, and Esau, the so-called white people, you know, this is white. You know, this is white. You look at those people across the street. Do they look white to you? No. So look at this. Look at this.
Oh no.
They don't look white, right? And you know, people will say that I'm black, but my shirt is black. My skin tone is not black. You know?
Yeah, my dad is white, but he's not white.
Yeah. So okay, yeah. But there you go, right here. You know, Jacob and Esau. So you said is your dad's dad white or is your dad's dad Puerto Rican?
He's white, but Puerto Rican.
Oh, so he looks white. He looks white. Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah. He looks white. I got you. Yeah. Okay, so right here. So then you're not a Native American Indian, right? You're up here Puerto Rican, because you are what your father is. So you're an Ephraimite. Okay? All right, but nonetheless, all right, the Lord knows who everybody is, right? So right here, this is what happened. And this is what the so-called white man did. You know, they call it cave dwelling. You know, you ever heard of cavemen? Yeah. They were all white people. You know, there wasn't no black cavemen. You remember that cartoon called the Flintstones? Yeah. They were all white people. They were living in caves. You know, they were living in rocks in the form of houses. Yeah. You know, but they were all cave dwellers. You know. Yeah. And then over there in it's called Mount Seir. That's where the white man came up out of before the Renaissance period. He came out of that and formed the Renaissance period. But the so-called white man, that's why you hear me say so-called, because you know he's not white. White is this is white. You know. That the lines on you see the white lines on that paper over there that's on that pole. That's white. You know. But the so-called white man is not white, he's red. Because when he let's say if you make a so-called white person mad or you make them laugh, they turn red, right? Their blood shows forth through their skin. Yeah, so they're not white, you know. But it says here, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh have spoken. So when there's nothing remaining, let's say you had a plate full of cookies, and you ate all the cookies, and there's nothing remaining, that's how it's going to be for Esau. Esau, the so-called white man, is going to get stumped into non-existence. Okay, he's going to be destroyed. And that's what's going to happen to your enemies. Okay, that's going to happen to your enemies. And your biggest enemy is the so-called white man, and that's what's going to happen to him. So the Lord's going to make an end out of Esau Edom. All right, I'm going to look at that word again. So this is what it says in my Bible dictionary for end. It says, is the rendering of the unusual Greek word a basin, meaning outcome. So the outcome of Esau Edom is going to be nothing. All right, it says, i.e. death. It occurs also only elsewhere in 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. But it says end means the outcome, all right? And the outcome for our enemies, especially Esau Edom, is going to be death, all right? There's going to be no more remaining in the house of Esau. So let's see. All right, end. It says, in the verb sense, because it's an action, in the sense of come or bring to a final point. Right? Well, the final point for Esau Edom is going to be destruction. The final point for the so-called white man is going to be death. Okay? All right. Let's see. It says in a termination of a state or situation. All right. And when you terminate something, nowadays it's, putting it to death. You ended it. All right, that's what's going to happen to these nations, man, according to the scripture. All right. Let me go back to Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 11. It says, "For I am with thee." So we gotta believe that the Lord is with us, all right, because He's saying that He is, and I believe that He's with us. It says, "Save the Lord to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet I will not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. For thus saith Yahweh, thy wound is not curable, but thy wound is written. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up." So like it, thou hast no healing medicine. All right, so the Lord is talking about our incurable wounds are the things that He brought upon us because of our transgressions. All right, the only way that we're going to get us out of these incurable wounds is by the mercies of the Lord. All right. It says here, verse 14, "All thy lovers have forgotten thee; they seek thee not." All right, and a lover is somebody that you have a close relationship. We have had close relationships with these other nations by partaking in their ways, but they don't do anything to save us. They don't do anything to help us. As far as there's a big thing going around with so-called black people wanting reparations for the things that have happened to them in regards to slavery and whatnot. And every political party that you can think of, it's probably a few people that are with it, but the majority of people are not with giving so-called black people reparations. But all these other nations like America, the so-called white man has oppressed in some way, shape, or form has received reparations. All right, but black people will never receive reparations in regards to the other nations, caring for them or seeking after to protect them. That's never going to happen. And we should want reparations for the things that the so-called white man has done to us in the form of money. Because money is going to be burnt up. Money is going to be destroyed. All these things that people take cleave to nowadays, it's gonna burn up. The phones that I got, people's cars, you know, these buildings, all these things gonna be burnt up. So if you want reparations in any sense, you should want reparations through the destruction of America, through the destruction of the individuals that have put you in the captivity that you are in. All right, so that's that on that piece. Let me go back to Second Ezra. This is Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahweh, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." So the word that the Lord speaks to us through the written word is how the Lord is speaking to us, and it's written on paper, and the things that the Lord has said will come to pass. It's true. It's coming to pass as we speak. The trials and tribulations of Jacob that we have went through, as far as the curses being put upon us, and we living through those curses and have gone through those curses, that's true. This device right here, which is going to be pushed on a high level here soon. I'm gonna show it to you. I showed it to you before. This right here, this MOTV, this Mark of the Beast. This is in the scripture. Yeah, and this is true. You know. Yeah, this right here. This is the Mark of the Beast. Yeah. Well, no, this device right here.
Oh yeah, I'm
See an arrow right there? Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's the Mark of the Beast right there. This RFID CHIP, that's the Mark of the Beast. Okay, this is prophesied in the scripture, and it's going to come to pass. This is one of the faithful and true sayings of the Lord, right? That this is going to come to pass. And the warning to the people is to not take the so-called Latinos and Native American Indians. You should not take by any means. Don't take it, because this is not going to do anything beneficial for you or towards you, when everything that's around you is going to go up in flames. Right? Everything's going to be burnt up, as the scripture says. All right, everything's going to be burnt up.
Right.
Yeah, everything's going. If you gotta, you know, go take a seat or whatever, it's okay. I'll be out here next week. You know.
Yeah. Circulate.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It says here,
Go ahead.
for fear not the imaginations against them. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee, that speak against thee. So for people that don't believe and are saying that the Bible isn't true, or you know, whatever it is that they're saying, all right, don't let that be a thought in your mind to saying, oh well, it's not true. Don't let what they believe influence you to think different from what it is that you standing on, what you believe in. You know? It says here, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So those that are not faithful to the Lord, starting off by believing in the names Yahweh and Yahushua, and then showing that they believe, all right. Those that don't believe, they're going to die in their unfaithfulness, and the Lord's going to kill people by horrific means. All right, there's going to be a famine of food out here. People not having the ability to access food, and people have kids. You know, men have wives or girlfriends, and women have, you know, they're single parents out here in regards to women. All right, there's going to be instances where people are eating people. You know, because there's going to be a famine out here. There's already recalls on a lot of foods that's happening within the past couple of weeks. All right, once those, and then last year or the year before, you had chicken factories being burnt down. You got businesses closing in America at a high rate, but it's not being publicized as much as it should be. But businesses are closing down because they're not able to sustain themselves in this economy. People are not making the same amount of money, or the money doesn't have that much value as it had, you know, 10 years ago. Even though money was shitty then, but it doesn't have that much value, so the price of things are going up, and businesses aren't able to sustain themselves because if they don't have customers coming in to buy their product that's at a high rate already, how are they going to get the resupply to make that product? You know, that's what closes down businesses in one form. And people are not making money in that sense of business, so businesses are closing down. The latest business that I heard that was about to go into Georgia was called Big Lots. That's a big chain store. They're closing down some of their stores. You can just Google, hey, you know, what stores are going out of business, you know? And they're going out of business because they're not making the money, because people are not shopping like that, because people have more bills to pay for, or their bills are going sky high. They don't have the money to go spend money on shopping. So, you know, things of that nature are happening. And that could lead to war. That could lead to, well, it's not going to, I'm not saying it could lead to war. It's going to lead to civil war or major distress amongst communities of people in America, which could lead to war, because the anxiety, the depression, the lack of things that people have can have somebody come up in your house and try to take what it is that you have, you know? And people going to die in that way. People going to die by means of war, you know? World War III is brewing up, all right? And that pot is stirring every day, where Russia and America are, you know, are in headlines with, you know, verbal exchanges as far as I'm going to shoot nuclear war at you, missiles at you, and I'm going to do the same thing to you. You got North Korea and America. You may have China and America here soon. You might have India and America soon, doing all this talks, and then those talks are going to turn into actual button pushes, and then those button pushes are going to lead to thermonuclear missiles being shot throughout the four corners of the globe, which is going to be a good thing, man, because those you need help picking that up? You got it?
Yeah.
All righty. Do you need some water?
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Have a blessed day.
You do the same thing. But those things are going to happen, and those things are going to lead up to mass destruction and mass death. And those people that are going to die, that are unfaithful, it's going to relate to 2/3 of our people. 2/3 of our people are going to die, you know? 2/3 of our people are going to die, and it's going to be a righteous judgment from the Lord, man, because they refuse to believe, they refuse to hearken unto the words of the Lord, okay, and they refuse to change their lives, man, okay? It says here, verse 5, it says, Behold, saith Yahweh, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And those four characteristics as far as plagues that the Lord is going to bring unto the world is some of the things that I just described, you know? The Lord is going to destroy this place, and it's going to be literal hell on earth, man. And you should be in a mindset of wanting to get out of that. All right, let's look up some of these. Let's look at these words. All right, let's look at the word sword. It says sword. It is a symbol of divine chastisement. Alright? Alright, it's in another sense, okay? Alright. It says here, an offensive weapon borne at the side and used by hand either for thrusting or cutting. Alright, that's one form of a sword. Alright? It says figuratively destruction by war. All right, that's that right there too. All right, it says vengeance or justice. It says war, dissension. All right, those are some characteristics or a definition for the word sword. And I'm looking at that in the Bible dictionary that I've got. All right, so let's look at the next word. Famine. And remember, a sword could be a gun. Alright, a sword could be information. Alright, a sword could be anything nowadays, okay? It doesn't have to be something that's used for at a side for threshing and cutting. Alright? It doesn't have to be that in these days, okay? It says famine. Famine, scarcity of food, dark, a general want of provisions sufficient for the habitation of a country or a besieged place. right? So scarcity of food. Yesterday, I was watching Apostle Ari Amlab's video that he's down there doing. He was doing with the brothers in GMS Indianapolis, and they were talking about how during martial law, all right, there's going to be laws in place where you can only have certain amount of days of food. You can only have a certain amount of types of resources, a limited amount of resources in regards to gold and silver. And nowadays grocery stores are only packed with, as he has said, grocery stores are packed with 3 days of food. But once a scarcity happens, or once certain things happen that will invoke people to be in a panic mode, they're gonna go to these stores and clear it out. All right. Remember how when the C-19 plague came around, people were tripping about toilet paper and other needed other items of necessity. Okay. It's gonna be harder. It's gonna be way more harsh in the day of destruction, in the day of the war, when for those people that don't believe and show forth their faith, man. Okay. All right. It says, I'm gonna read this too. It says famines were sent as an effect of Yahweh's anger against guilty people. All right. All the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Okay. What are they guilty of? Being faithless. Okay. All right. That's it for the famine right there. That's heavy enough. All right, the next word is death. All right, death. It says may be simply defined as the termination of life, so the end of life. Okay. All right, yeah, that was it on that. That's a lot of other stuff. It says it is the dissolution of our earthly house of this tabernacle. All right, so what, like it says in the scriptures in Ecclesiastes 12:7, it says that dust shall return to the earth as it was. Your body is formed out of dust, all right, and to die, all right, the termination of life, all right, in whatever form it may be, the judgment that the Lord has for you, all right. That's death, man, and it's gonna be horrible, man. People are gonna die out here horrible deaths. Okay. All right, now the next word is destruction. All right, destruction. The act of destroying, demolition, and pulling down, subversion, ruin by whatever means, as the destruction of building or towns. And that's going to happen. People's homes are going to be destroyed. It's going to be destroyed for the lack of want, all right, for the scarcity of food, for one. All right, people can run up in your crib and take what it is that you have. All right, even though the formation or the building of your house may still be, or your home may still be, in the sense of people running in there and taking what they want, the formation of your home still may be intact, but the life that was in there has been taken away. Okay? The things that made a house a home have been taken away. Okay? All right? And then there's going to be actual, war, and from the war, whether it be in the form of civil war or global war, okay? All right, they're going to be the military. They're going to be out here shooting things as far as weapons that can destroy buildings. Okay, all right. Other than missiles, they have order rounds. They have Carl Gustavs. These are all smaller missile projectile type missiles or weapons that can be shot, okay, that can destroy buildings. All right, you got bombs, all these other kind of things that is going to be made out here, pipe bombs, whatever, you know. That's going to be made out here in order to bring forth destruction, and then ultimately the Lord Yahweh Shai is going to bring that ultimate destruction when he comes with the thousands and thousands of chariots, man, all right, of the angels in their chariots, man, all right. When he brings forth war, and when the Lord brings forth those thermonuclear missiles, okay? It says here, destruction consists of an annihilation of the form of anything. It says the form of parts which consist what it is, as the destruction of grass or garbage by eating, or of a forest by cutting down the trees. Those are just some examples, all right, for destruction. But the ultimate destruction, all right, is going to come by the way of the Lord, man. Okay, by the way of Yahweh Shai, okay? All right, and the Lord's going to come with fire. And the Lord's going to bring fire when he comes, okay? All right? It says here, a total annihilation, the destruction of a particular government. America is a government, okay? It has its influence throughout the four corners of the globe. It says the destruction of happiness. Oh, people are happy here. People are so far in their happiness that they don't see what's coming. Because one, what's coming is being hidden, and two, it's not for them to be aware of, okay? It says here, destruction of a particular government, the destruction of happiness. All right, it says death, murder, slaughter, massacre, ruin, destruction and misery, all right, eternal death, all right, cause of destruction, a consuming plague, a destroyer, all right, the Lord is bringing these things, man, okay? I don't know how to describe it any more in depth than that, you know? It says here, verse 6, this is 2 Ezra 15 and 6. It says here, for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. All right, what's one way that wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth? All right, Esau Edom has his hand in everything. All right, and what I mean by that, he has his influence on stuff. So Esau Edom has his influence on people in America, all right, having them dress up a certain way and act a certain way, which influences these other countries, like let's say somewhere in the Middle East where women are supposed to be more modest than they are in America, right? You got women over there wanting to drive, wanting to be free, being strippers, being whores, because of what it is that they see on social media through America, all right? Another example of wickedness exceeding polluting the whole earth is in regards to homosexuality. We know what that's doing, especially to you so-called niggas like Latinos and Native American Indians, okay? Verse 7 says, therefore saith Yahweh, I will hold my tongue no more. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and the righteous blood cried unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. So those that Esau Edom has slain, and those that the Lord has set up to cry unto him, in the sense of the blood that has been slain, as it has said, they up there in the heavens crying unto the Lord, like, Lord, how much longer are you going to have this going on towards your people down here? All right, the Lord is hearing the prayers of the saints, man. The Lord is hearing the prayers of those individual souls that's up there crying unto him, all right, about the deliverance of his people, about the setting up of the kingdom of heaven. The Lord is hearing these things, right? And as every day goes by, you can bet that every day is getting closer to the destruction of America. And you need to be right with the Lord before that happens, man. That's all we out here telling our people to do, is to get right with the Lord, because we're trying to get right with the Lord by showing forth our faith, man, whether people hear or forbear, you know? and showing forth the part of your faith is coming out here preaching and teaching, man. Okay? Whether you with a group of brothers, you by yourself, you know? It says here, verse 9, 2 Ezra 15 and 9, and therefore saith Yahweh, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. And how is that? The Lord has set Esau Edom up to put certain things before us. All right, and then we are influenced by that. When I say the Lord set Esau Edom up, the Lord gave Esau everything that we see. Okay, all right. But the Lord, and the Lord giving Esau that, Esau Edom has set forth wicked traps, all right, that will get us killed, that will have us killing each other, that will have us getting killed in the streets, that will have us envying each other, okay? That will have us doing things contrary to the scriptures, all right? And I'm thinking about it, what it says in Revelation, the accuser of our brethren, all right? The accuser of our brethren, you know, Esau Edom is our brother, but he's accusing us to the Lord because of the things that he set up. You know, we're not in no power, right? But we are influenced by the power of Esau in the sense to do wickedness. But the spirit of Yahweh Shem Al-Shai is better than that. Okay? Alright? Those are some examples of how we are led to the slaughter, man. Okay? Literally, we are being killed, man, by the things that Esau Edom pushes for towards our people. Okay? It says here, I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Right? The Lord's not going to continue to allow us to sit here in America, man. On the Lord's time, he's going to come deliver us up out of here. All right? On the Lord's time. All right, it says here, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and will smite Egypt with plagues as before. All right, so if the Lord smited Egypt one time already, and we haven't been back to Egypt in that captivity, what Egypt you think he's talking about? As before, he did it before, he's going to do it again in this Egypt, okay, in America, in Babylon, where we are in captivity, where we are in imprisonment, where we are as a fate of war, okay, and a war that we lost against the Lord, because when you go against the Lord, you fight against the Lord, and guess what? When you fight against the Lord, and in regards to disobeying His commandments that He told us to keep, we fought in that war and we lost. So guess what? We at the fate of war, we in the hands of our enemies. Okay, all right. So this should teach us to not fight against the Lord anymore, but try to be side by side with the Lord by doing what He says to do, to the best of your ability. You know, so you don't become an individual that's going to be partaking in the destruction, the death, the famine, or the sword. It says, I'm going to read verse 11 again, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. The Lord didn't destroy Egypt, all right? The Lord's going to destroy this modern day Egypt, the place that we are in double straits right now, in bondage right now, okay? All right? The Lord's going to destroy this place, all right? Let's get something on that. This is Isaiah 34:1. It says, come near ye nations to hear, and hearken ye people, let the earth hear, and all the things, and all that is therein. Salaki. The world and all the things that come forth of it. All right, so everybody and everything listen up, right? That's what the Lord is saying through Isaiah. Right? It says, for the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. So the Lord is going to gather these people up, right? The armies of these nations, into the land of Yahweh Shaphat, okay? The land of judgment, okay? And cast forth judgment on them, right? It says, he hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. All right, that's that destruction that you don't want to be a part of. So if you're in this white man's military, all right, or any other nation's military, all right, and if you are an Israelite and you know that you are an Israelite, pray the Lord give you a way out, man. All I was in the so-called white man's military, all right, and the Lord gave me a way out, okay? Pray the Lord give you a way out, all right? And Kamari Habashina Al-Shah forgive me about it, man, all right? It says here, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as a leaf falleth from the vine, and the falling fig from the fig tree. All right, it's telling you how these nations and their armies are going to be destroyed. All right, these nations, meaning the land. Okay, all right, we know America's going to be wholly destroyed. All right, I don't know how the Lord's going to break down these other nations per se in regards to their destruction, but we know America's going to be it. All right. But we know America's gonna be it, all right? And when you see the, I got a picture right here, nuclear cloud. Right here, see this nuclear cloud, this is what's gonna happen to America, all right? It's in the Bible, all right? This is what it's talking about right here. Rolled together as a scroll, look at that, okay? It says here, verse 5, it says, for my sword, which we know is a killing instrument, all right, shall be bathed in heaven, but behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment, all right, their judgment, the people that's under the Lord's curse, okay, their judgment is going to be them partaking in the sword of the Lord, which is going to be those thermonuclear missiles, which is going to be this right here, okay? Which they're going to partake in this, okay? Destruction, death, all right? Everything's going to go, everything in America is going to have a sense of either thermonuclear radiation, all right, and the impacts of it, or it's going to be soot and smoke everywhere on things and people. But the buildings and all that, they're going to be rolled over and destroyed and cast down, all right? This government is going to be pulled down. America is going to be destroyed, okay? Whether people believe it or not. You know, this is what the scriptures say, and I believe it. Because all the other kingdoms that were mentioned of in the Bible, because it just made me think of that, the words of the Lord as we were reading in 2nd Ezra that were put on paper are faithful and true. So as you read about the other kingdoms that were set up, all right, the Babylonians, the Medo-Persian Empire, okay? The Greeks, the Romans, they were all set up and they were destroyed. Why is America any different? It's not any different, okay? All right? It says here, the sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is fat. It is made fat with fatness and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahweh has a sacrifice of Bosra and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. That's here in America, man. That's what's coming. The Lord has a great slaughter for this place, man. All right? Let's look at that word slaughter. All right, it says slaughter in a general sense, a killing applied to men. Slaughter usually donates great destruction of life by violent means. All right, great destruction of life by violent means. That's what slaughter is, man, okay? All right, to kill, to slay, to make destruction of life. All right, to butcher, to kill for the market as beasts, okay? All right, you know, slaughterhouses for cows and other animals and other animals in the nature of them going through slaughterhouses. Well, America's going to be the greatest slaughterhouse, man, okay? Well, I can make that into a lesson, all right? It says here, and the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and the dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance, and the year of Yahweh's, and the year of recompense to the controversy of Zion. So the Lord's recompense, okay, upon our enemies is going to be their destruction, especially those that live here in America. They're going to be burnt with fire, man. Okay, that shit is going to hurt. Like a couple weeks ago, I burnt my arm working on my car, and that shit hurt. But what's coming is going to be 100 million degrees Celsius, okay? All right? That's how hot those thermonuclear missiles are going to be. All right, so 100 million degrees Celsius is a is 180,032 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, that's hot, man. Okay. All right, here we go. This is interesting. It says, what material can withstand 100 million degrees? All right, it says, but to bring about fusion on Earth, the atoms need to be heated to above 100 million degrees and controlled to a sufficiently long time. No materials can withstand such temperatures. So everything that you see here is gonna burn up, man. Okay? Everything that you see here is gonna burn up. Alright? Everything. The people, the cars, the clothes, the money, the homes, the buildings, the streets, the animals, the trees, the grass. Alright? The radio towers, okay? Alright? Whatever you could think of is gonna burn up because it just says here, no materials can withstand such temperature. Alright? And that's what's coming to America on the day of the Lord's vengeance for the controversy of Zion, okay? For the Lord's, what's controversy mean? What's it say? For the cause of Israel, man. For the Lord's cause for Israel, okay? All right? But I'm gonna go ahead and close out, man. Really edified. I want to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who want to teach well, heart channel one to the hopeful elect. Kwame Ashawala, Mawafah Babal, Yahweh Mahar Hawashai, Nawab, Shabbat, Shalom.